Kaveri Roy from Celebrate India. And on behalf of the whole team, I would like to welcome you for the second edition of H. So, before I go on telling you more about what H is, I would like you all to know what exactly we do at Celebrate India. Basically, we are trying to be the black swan for the travel industry. There are too many websites, there are too many portals giving a lot of information, some very good, some pretty good, some okay. So our entire focus is to get you inspirational stories and to get you information that really matters. So doing that, we're just trying to focus on differentiation and trying to bring you stuff that really gets your feet moving. So while we were busy doing these, we figured out that travel stories are something that inspires a lot of people, but at the same time, not many come out in the open and tell what exactly they have been doing. So the idea was to make travelers meet. The idea was people who are always on the feet to come together and inspire others to do the same. So that's how we came to H. We started the first edition in Delhi at the Kunzum Travel Cafe with speakers like Vinod Sridhar of Journeys with Meaning and Arjun Sachdeva of Let's Get Packing along with Bhuvan Mehta of Pink Escapes. The theme then was the itch to travel. So why exactly do people have the itch to go ahead and leave everything behind and just get going? Well, all our speakers came to conclude that if you have that itchy feet, it's not really a problem. Take it up as a solution which can be cured only when you start traveling. So moving on from there, we had to come to the next stage. And what better place than where we work from, so Bombay. And in Bombay, the idea was the itch to explore. Why explore? We wanted to know the reason why people travel. I'm sure our speakers have brilliant answers for that. But the basic reason, okay, we all are comfortable, we all are moving around, we have a routine life. Where exactly does the need to come to leave everything behind and pick up your backpack, go onto that mountain that you always wanted to climb, take on that river that you always wanted to swim across, go to that exact calendar picture that's always in front of your computer on the work desk. So that exactly is what exploring is. Exploring is the other word to travel. It is the best form to keep that change that you want in your life coming to you. So unless you don't travel, you do not explore. And based on that theme, we would like to talk about who our speakers are in this evening. To start with, we have the man who got camping into Bombay. He was the one who opened the doors to outdoors in Bombay. And I would like to call Rahil. And of course, Janki, if she wants to join him.
This is a great initiative. It's great to get a lot of travelers together, because the one thing that is really hard about travel is finding a travel companion. Now, I don't know, I mean, we are all here and you never know who will connect with whom and where it will lead to. You might just end up taking a trip together. I think there's a lot of people giving a lot of inspiration today as well. I think Jehan, Regan, their job is to bring you a lot of varied, very intense travel experiences, which you can take up and explore. First up, I just wanted to say that your travel is an expression of you. It's different for each person. I mean, it's very hard to say that this is travel. It's very hard to pin down saying that this travel is this is good travel, this is bad travel. It's each person to each his own. Whatever your trip be, wherever you're going, whatever length of trip that you decide to take, what your budget for the trip is, whatever you do, travel will always have an opportunity. It will always give you an opportunity to learn. It will always give you an opportunity to take something from it. All you need to do really is explore a little bit. So as a child, I traveled a lot. I mean, into my early teens, I did travel abroad with parents, traveled to the north of India, did some religious trips, did all sorts of trips, traveled to Kenya. I did a lot of those trips, but really, I feel like I was born as a traveler on this one solo trip that I did in 2005 or so to the Himalayas. So I was in the Himalayas with two porters, walking around for about 2 months between Uttaranchal and Sikkim. I mean, of course, I took my time moving between the two places, but that was a fantastic trip. That I think like that is where my definition of travel came about. That's where I got the opportunity to connect with locals. I got the opportunity to do what I wanted, to stay 2 days extra at a place, to move on, to walk, to hire a jeep if I needed to, and basically but express myself. Read a book for a day, take a break, take a rest day when I wanted. Travel on my own terms. I think this was quite defining to me. In due course, I met Janki, who's now my wife. She's also a like-minded traveler. She has had her sojourn. She's done solo trips to Bangkok, diving trips to Bangkok for a month and a half. Another solo trip to Bhutan for about a month and a half. So I think we vibed well, and now we travel together. Most of the trips that we take, we just do as a couple. We usually don't travel with other people. I found camping in my different travels, I found camping to be very liberating. It basically allowed me to do what I wanted. If I had a tent in my backpack, I knew that, while I was traveling, I would, with some jugaad or the other, manage to find a place where I'll pitch a tent. I didn't have to have a booking beforehand. I didn't have to have an itinerary. I could go, open-ended and manage. Where does travel start, right? So, the starting point for any trip is, of course, your planning. And planning is not, to my mind, itineraries. It's not bookings. It's not, your suitcases and packing them. It's not your concierge services. That's not what it's all about. To me, frankly, a plan is to dwell, read on destinations, the local customs, connect with a local there sometimes. There was one trip I did in Bangalore. I wanted to go trekking in Coorg. I didn't know anybody there, and I wanted to do a trip on my own. So what I did is I just reached out to certain people in Bangalore through some forums. I said, is there a willing traveler who is willing to go with me? With a reference, found somebody who was willing to travel, and we did this 6-7 day trip in Coorg. It was outstanding. It was great fun. I basically needed someone who would speak the language, because to be lost in the jungles of Karnataka, not knowing the language would have been just crazy. So yeah, I mean, this research I feel is important. The other thing, and I think this should have been first, is a travel partner. If you're traveling solo, it's a fantastic experience. You should try it with a lot of caution. You should know what you're doing, but feel free to explore. As long as you're educated, you know that yes, in general, somebody else has done this solo trip before, or someone has explored this region. It's been fine if you know that. Like, don't go solo to Africa, in Nairobi. I mean, it may work out fine. I know people that have done it, but those people go with an open mind, saying that, if I get mugged once in a trip, that's okay. It's like that. So, I mean, be safe, but taking a solo trip is fantastic. It's an eye opener. It's a great experience. Another thing is, on your trips, walk. This is something that, like, frankly, if you want to explore, walk. If you're on a road trip, park your car and walk. Go to a point, like say you're going to Lonavala also, and there's like Rajmachi Point where there are like 100, or you're going to Darjeeling, there's Tiger Point, everyone is waiting to see the sunrise. Walk 5 minutes away, you will find a lovely quiet spot where you will be able to sit, where you will be able to spend your time and catch your whatever scenery in solitude. I can't stress this enough. Park, walk, just be with your backpacks, get out, walk. This is something that a lot of people don't do. So, which is where you will find that, a regular traveler doesn't do this enough, which is where you will find that there's quietude just 5 minutes away from a popular tourist destination. Yeah. Don't bring Bombay to your travels. Do not do that. Do not carry Bombay to your travels. It doesn't work. Like the Raj travels that will cook you idli and give you jalebis, frankly, for dessert in France. Doesn't work for me. On a road trip, always carry a map. I love maps. I'm like totally into maps. Anywhere I go, I'll first pick up a map. I'll orient myself. Now, of course, if you're in India, your GPS will tell you where you are. If you've got data, and Google Maps will tell you where you are. Abroad, data is a little expensive. So, the old way, having the maps the old way is fantastic. Char rasta aayega, wahan se right marna, that kind of thing. And that's great, because it's great engagement. Your road trip then becomes a pleasure. Then you're not concentrating as much on the destination as you are on the road trip itself. Of course, if you're with your car, you can stop wherever you want. You see something you like. So Hazard, it's if you've driven in India, you can pretty much drive anywhere in the world. I feel like it's just it just takes a little mental training, so it's worth trying out. Naneghat is a trek. Well, it's in the Malshej region, so it's about the base village is it's fairly easy to get to. The base village you go via Kalyan, and it will take you, I want to say, about 2.5 hours to get there, and then it's a trek, about 2.5 hour trek. It's lovely. It's very well documented, very popular trek. There are caves at the top where you can stay. So if you've just carried a sleeping bag or a blanket or something, it's a great place to stay, and it's a great monsoon trek as well. So just, I mean, so like having run campgrounds for like 3-4 years now, I'm rethinking camping in the sense that this whole tent stigma, right, associated with camping. Like if you're not stayed in a tent, you're not camping. Frankly, I'm at least, personally beginning to rethink that. So what do I really get out of a camping trip? It's a trip that I've done on my own. It's a scenic trip that I've done in nature. It's got the magic of like starry nights, maybe you'll see fireflies, maybe, some of that sort. You're enjoying the mystery of there's a certain uncertainty. Where am I going to be? What am I going to do? How's it going to be? Stuff like that. If you are doing a road trip with a tent in India, then there are some tips here. Carry your gear, be prepared. Camp with a villager. Don't just do it just anywhere. Yeah, spend some time looking for a place to camp. The 3 o'clock rule really applies. Yeah, and choose a spot where you will not get too much attention, because if a cop doesn't catch you early in the morning by 8 o'clock, if you have not woken up, there will be 20 villagers looking at your tent saying, Baba, ye kya ho raha hai? Ye kahan se, where is this alien landed from? So in Yellowstone, I hammock camped for about 6 or 7 days. It was great fun. It was great fun because it was a great experiment. Like those little white things on the side, they are meant so that the water, it was actually raining, so the water coming down from the side of the tree doesn't come along the rope into the hammock, it goes down. So it's just improvisation. I mean, you're doing this, you have taken the time. I'm okay, I'm by myself, I'm okay with a night which is not so comfortable. I will jugaad it, I will try it out. It was fantastic because my backpack weighed nothing. I mean, this was my, frankly, this was my tent. It was just a tiny little thing. I had a small sleeping bag with me, I had a small stove with me, and that's it. That's what I was doing. Okay, so this is a feeder waterfall for the Thosegar waterfalls at Kas. Kas is next to Satara on the Bombay-Bangalore highway, ahead of Pune. Again, why I remember this is that we actually, I don't think it's legal, but we went and swam in this thing. We saw it and we were like, we must. And it was a fantastic experience. It was like, really be happy to take any questions that you guys have. I think I also need to scoot. Yeah.
So do you ever take travel insurance when you travel, and does that ever help you in any way?
Sure. I've never used travel insurance. Every time I travel abroad, I've taken travel insurance. In India, if I have taken travel insurance one time when I went on an expedition. So that's a special type of insurance that you take for a high risk trip, right? But otherwise, within India, I have never taken travel insurance. Abroad, I think it's travel insurance not very expensive.
So many of us out here, but I'd just like to know why you all are here. Don't tell me your names. I'm not going to remember anyone's name. My memory is really bad. Yeah. But just give me an idea why you've come. Regan, let's start from Regan. Regan, why are you here? Come on, guys, don't feel shy. Just tell me why are you here.
Yeah. So. So.
No name. I don't need a name. Just.
Yeah, so recently, I don't know, I just graduated,
yeah.
So I have been doing nothing, so I've been looking for places to go out and travel, and I thought hopefully, I could get some more information on traveling, and I went a few places in these last few months, so, and I'm back, and I don't really want to, for some reason now the idea of the city is even worse than what it was at one point, so basically that's about it.
That's great. So you've come here for information. And you heard about these guys, about celebrity, and stories.
Yeah.
What about you?
Same information.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to make. I've not made many trips.
Yeah.
Just a few.
Yeah.
That time I was studying.
Yeah.
Now that I've started work, it's really hard to I don't know how to make time and make a trip, and plus I hate touristy places.
Yeah.
So I was basically here. I was hoping to get information on places that are, that people don't know of, but they're very, they're very interesting. So,
Great. What about you?
I like to travel. That's why
You like to travel, that's right. Where were you last weekend?
it's at Karjar.
Yeah.
That place name is Kokan Kada.
Okay. So you went to Kokankada for a trek. Fantastic. So he wasn't in his office last weekend, so that's quite cool. I like that. I'll skip out my question.
Thank you.
Actually, Shamil, why don't you come here?
No.
Come on.
No.
No? What about you, ma'am?
Okay, I just came to know about this group site called Prakriti. Let's to know about more traveling options in and around near Bombay.
Yeah. Where is your girlfriend? Point her out. Point her out. Where is she? What about you guys? Someone at the back.
I just came from US actually.
Yeah?
I'm into wildlife and all.
Okay.
So actually my cousin over here, she actually told me about this.
Yeah.
So obviously I wanted to come out and check out and so far so good.
Oh, fantastic. That's good.
Okay,
So you're hoping to get information connected to
last 2 months back, I quit my job and all the money that I had collected, I started traveling
Yeah.
alone. So I was solo in India. Yeah. So I came to Bombay because I wanted to come back to civilization for some time, and I had a friend here whose place I'm bunking right now. So I just came across the page through White Collar Mufti. I think I follow that page and like that page. So I came to know what is event that was happening. So I landed up here. So I had, but I think I know some more people who move around.
That's good. What about you?
I'm starting to be a graphic designer, and when I travel, it's very inspiring for me to design and stuff. So yeah, I like going around places and traveling.
So you came here to get information and meet more people. I think most of us are here for the same reason, I guess. I received a call. My name is Jihan, by the way. She introduced me. Something to do with adventure. Yeah, I run a company called Quest Expedition. It's a private limited company, and we try to create awareness about many things. Not only travel, about many things. But we're predominantly a adventure sport and an adventure travel based company. Yeah. Shamin who's sitting out there, she's pretty much my backbone. I asked her to come here. If she doesn't sit here, I'm going to slouch a lot, basically. You're okay out there? Yeah, that's all right.
Resting my back.
So, I just want the camera away from me somehow. Is that better? Yeah. Okay. So I'm very sensitive. I'm very sensitive to light. Yeah. I'm more of a night person, but. So yeah, I run a company to do with adventure. I received a call. I was on the beach, saying that can you come on the 18th, 5 p.m. And I said, for what? And I couldn't hear anything, So then I heard something, travel, celebrate India. And one of your ex-employees had met me. His name was Manba. And just through Facebook, we spoke of a ancient sailboat race that's been happening for 100 years in a place that's probably an hour away from Mumbai city. Yeah, an hour of comfortable travel. You can get into an air-conditioned catamaran, cost 135 rupees. It was 120 rupees then. Takes you across the bay. You drive down to this point where the local fishermen have been racing their ancient sailboats for 100 years. Every year this event takes place. This year there were only 4 sailboats, yeah, and each sailboat had around about 30 supporting boats cheering them. If the same thing happened in Kerala, basically there is an event, the snake boat races happen. Has anyone been for them? No. Anyone from the south? You are aware of the snake boat races. I've been there 96, 97, 98, 99. Those years, I remember there were so many foreign tourists. Basically, they would park these wooden, boats, and we were hungry. I was with a group, and one of our local guides, he went into the fields. He chopped a banana tree, and he put a banana tree in the middle of this boat. So we were eating bananas while we were watching the snake boat races. Out here, it was Charmaine, Manba, because he connected through social media, and a couple of our guys from the team, basically. There was nobody else out here to watch this event. What was the most memorable moment, Charmaine, on the sailboat race?
The villagers dancing.
Exactly.
These, a lot of women who were supporting the speedboats, and they were dancing to any. They were better than any cheerleading group, to be honest. They were so in sync, and we were trying to imitate them, and we just couldn't get the rhythm. We were just so bad. It was embarrassing. This year the race is happening on the 12th of April. You guys should come.
So things like this, things like this. Charmaine enjoyed the cheerleaders, so did I. I don't remember who won the sailboat race, basically. I don't remember how many beer I had on the boat, basically. Just came coming. But I remember the local ladies, they were all dressed in the same color saris. They had music, blasting on the fishing boats, and they were cheering the local sailing boat, basically. The event lasted for 2 hours. It was spectacular. What I'm getting to is awareness. There is a lack of awareness about some things. To gain awareness, we need to go on a quest. We need to go on a journey. We need to ask the right questions, basically. We need to connect with the right people. And that's probably why we are all here. We can dim the lights now. It's better, It adds a feel to the whole thing. Perfect. Okay, that's much better. Okay, so I was born in a family like most of us are, and South Bombay kid, very protective family. My folks are bankers, they don't know anything but bank. My granddad was a driver, so my surname is Driver. I went through school being a driver. The jokes were very creative. It was either on my surname or on my height. So either there's a short joke or either there's a driver, where's the conductor kind of joke. So went through a bit of that. Protective family. They grew up in hard times. Granddad was a engine driver. He used to drive the steam trains. He had burns all over his arm, and he was a driver. So he got his surname Driver. It carried on. Before that, it was Daruwala, by the way, Regan. Really, So we get surname depending on our profession, XYZ. So, I would have liked the Daruwala better, but anyway. So Granddad told me a lot of stories. One of the stories that he told me was this one time at band camp. One time when he was, in a steam engine, he was feeding coal. The engine was going down the tracks, and he was heading towards Jammu, and there were 2 wild buck fighting on the railway tracks. Their antlers were interlocked, and they were watching it. Now, in those days, the braking was not what do you call it, ABS or anything on a steam. It was crap, basically. If they jammed the brakes, it would mean that all the bogies from the back would be on top of the on top of the engine. So they had to run over the buck. But then they would stop the train slowly. The engine driver would jump off. The guard would jump off. They would run back and collect whatever was left of the fresh kill. Put it on top of the boiler where the steam would make the engine work, and they would have a meal for the next 3 days, basically. And that story kept going on in my mind through my youth, basically. I wasn't allowed to go down for a walk. I wasn't allowed to cycle. There were all these permissions that needed to be taken for doing many things. And then I thought, my granddad, did he take permission, to eat the vegetarians here? Any vegetarians? Sorry, I'm very sorry. I only eat meat. So that story, had a bit of adventure in it. Now, adventure could be anything. Adventure could, for somebody who's coming to India for the first time, adventure might just be landing at Delhi airport. You are screaming at the top of your lungs saying, my friend is going to come and get me, and a taxi driver says, your friend has sent me, come with me, madam. That is adventure. To Chuck Berry, you know Chuck Berry. Anyone know of Chuck Berry? Kiwi Madcap. Yeah. To Chuck Berry. I was in New Zealand for 3 years. I was his driver. I used to drive him up a mountain, so that he would, use a hand-sewn parachute, a skydiving rig, and just jump off. Basically, he would fly at 90 kilometers per hour, 3 feet off the ground, and he would expect me to drive down to pick him up again before he reached the bottom. Basically, I would get $20 for that, and adventure for somebody like him was something completely different. So it's a broad term. It's a really, really broad term. It all depends on what you make of it in the end. Getting back to my story, so I started camping. There was a scheme called the Duke of Edinburgh Award program. So in school we all have our scouts, our RSP, we have all these small clubs, which make us belong, which teach us some things. They teach you the knots, they teach you, how to use a penknife. There was a Duke of Edinburgh's award program which encouraged us to take on a skill, a hobby, and an outdoor recreation program, basically. So there would be 2 camps, and I would love these camps, basically. It was escapism for me. So adventure for many people could be escapism. I escaped and I never went back, basically. Starting from camping from one weekend to the other, I would have a backpack ready. चलो ये weekend वो side पे जाना है, वो backpack लेके जाना है. ये weekend पे cycle लेके किधर जाना है, वो backpack लेके जाना है. समुद्र में जाना है, ये लेके जाना है. तो it was all planned, basically. My folks didn't have a clue. I would be, at a friend's house, at a cousin's place, or somewhere else. So I had to do it because in 95, 94, there weren't so many other jobs as such either. Basically, today we have a designer here, we have people who are working for Celebrate India. It was very stereotypical at that point of time. Now it's a little bit easier. At that point of time, everyone in my class, was either a lawyer, a doctor, a banker, streamlined. Very few people ended up doing what they want. So even I worked in a bank after I finished school, but whilst working in a bank I was out camping, trekking every weekend. I got an opportunity to work for a European company called the Imaginative Traveller. They lead trips all around the country, basically, and it was amazing. My boss was a Dutchman. He gave me the company credit card and he told me, I want you to go where no one has gone before. Yeah, you can use the card to withdraw money, basically, and come back with information where we can create new destinations. So the word destination stuck in my mind, basically, an idea of a destination, a zone, an area. Today, what areas do we know of? We know of areas that have already been marketed, advertised, and are spoken about, basically. But sometimes when you're riding a motorcycle down a road and you want to head to Goa, basically, and if you just decide for a second that I need to take a right or a left, you'll find your Goa there. You don't really have to go that far, basically. It's just finding your own places. So that's been our quest for a very long time, finding our own places, finding places that have a potential, trying to reach out to people of different backgrounds, basically. So the lady who arrived at the airport, the guy, the taxi driver, created an adventure scenario for her or him, and Chuck Berry, basically. What would adventure be for that person? In our scenario today, in this area, okay, I'll turn the spotlight back to you guys, basically. Just ask one question, whether you like cricket or not. Yeah, do you like cricket? No. Okay, you like cricket? No. You like cricket? Yes or no?
No.
Cricket? You like it? Shamin, can you give her a free banana? Seriously? No, they're free bananas for cricket lovers. Give her one, give her one. Give her one. What about you?
Asking me or no?
Oh, any of y'all.
It's fine.
It's fine. Give her a free banana as well. Give her, seriously. Shamin, you're at work now.
And
So.
they're all going to say yes.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, let's move. What about you? No? Don't like it? You?
I am okay with that. I've gone with
Really? Give her a free banana. Come on. Shamin,
I told
hand out
you
free
I'm
bananas.
saying yes.
Come on, guys. What about you?
I love cricket, every other ball game.
Yeah?
Every other sport.
You like ball sports, yeah?
And the satchel to take from yourself.
Okay, so there's a free banana for all the cricket lovers, yeah? It's a method of finding these places, yeah? It was very, very difficult before Google Maps came into play. There was no mapping of Maharashtra, no mapping of India, no mapping of Goa. We had to go around asking people about places, basically. Most of the replies we got were very vague, and we had to actually go out there to find these places. Today, one of the best methods to find any of these places is Google Maps. Yeah, you can just log on, select a location and look for different geographical characteristics in the area. Adventure is nothing but your skill level or your past experience on the, Shamin, what's that, X or Y? X, on the X. And on the Y, you have the challenge that is put up against you. Yeah. So when you're looking at the X and Y, if your skill level is at, let's say 5, and the challenge put up in front of you is 1, you're going to be in a zone that's called boredom. Yeah, it's going to be very boring for you guys. If your skill level is 1 and the challenge put in front of you is 5, it's going to be a misadventure. There's going to be a chance of an accident in that scenario. So matching this is very important. Yeah, you don't have to do it statistically. You can just do it by being honest with yourself. There are a variety of sports that we offer to people, variety of adventure travel options that we offer to people, but matching their expectations is a tricky part, basically. If I ask you, now you were at, where did you trek last weekend? I know you went for a trek, but I forgot where. Kokankada. I know the grade of the trek. I know it's a hard trek to do. I'll ask you, how long did you take to reach up?
A whole one day.
A full day, right? I have a better understanding of what the past experiences were. I'll be able to recommend, something for you to do which will match your expectations when it comes to adventure, basically. Guys, you can interrupt me anytime. Or sometimes I go on a tangent. You can stop me, bring me around. I'm out of time, aren't I? Okay. Yeah, so I'll leave you all with a thought, basically. The thought is as simple as this, that why go where someone's already been?
These awesome looking restaurants by the wharf. I had this mental note like I want to come down and have my lunch here, and then I just ran into this little park where at about 1:30 in the afternoon it was filled with everyone sitting down there in their suits having lunch. And that's when it hit me, I was a nice little tourist with my iPod in, and I have my little travel log, and I'm listening to stuff, and I got my travel books with me. And I am not experiencing London. These people sitting right here in the park, chilling out, are really feeling and soaking London in. That's what Bombay needs, and I can call it Bombay. That's what Bombay really needs. You need to experience this city. You don't need to spend money. You don't need to go to Jihan or me. What you need to do, what you really need to do is do a short trip to Borivali National Park. We spent a day there just climbing trees. We got this awesome beach, this awesome coastline. We could just chill out and do nothing. The reason why I say that you need to do this is today you can't hula hoop in a park in Bombay. They will stop you and ask you to leave. As a city, our public spaces are run by morons and pretty much used by an idiot with a beer bottle. We need to take that back. We need to sit back and say, listen, there's so much in the city that you could do. You don't really need to go out to Paris to sit and have a cup of coffee, grab a few friends along, head down to Juhu Beach, plonk your ass there and sit and have a cup of coffee. The reason is that if we don't do that, Juhu Beach tends to be just a place that is filthy and dirty, is never used. If you want to make Bombay another Paris, or you want to make Bombay a really cool place, you got to go out there and use what Bombay has. Be innovative, get a camping chair, spend an evening out on the sea or in a park instead of a coffee shop. Just change the way you look at the city and that's about it. That's all it takes to make the city an experience, rather than saying there's nothing to do in Mumbai. If you can't do this, groupbulk.in. We have better options to do than sitting on the beach, I suppose. And yeah, that's how we're going to end it.
So yeah, this time we partnered with White Collar Hippies, and we have Vikrant here, so he's going to talk about it a little.
I think it's great to have this travel meet here, and I don't think, I mean everyone's here because of the travel meet, so I don't need to talk any more about why you should travel, or why it's important to travel, because I'm guessing everyone here is already doing that. But if you notice that everyone who spoke today, that's what even I noticed, and that's how White Collar Hippie came about also. That he went to London and he saw in the park something that he was like, oh, this is awesome and I should come back and bring about that change in Bombay. Big Red Tent guy went to America and he was like, why can't people experience camping like this in India? He came back and started Big Red Tent. So travel is, basically that's what travel does actually. It brings about a lot of new ideas. Besides just seeing and exploring the world, it will actually help you explore a lot back home and about yourself. And yeah, it's just so, don't just look to explore the outside world, but just see how it's affecting you inside also, and how you're changing while you're traveling, a little bit of retrospect, and you realize that does a lot more to you. Yeah. And I have some gifts for you guys. So.